networking, referrals, strategies for success, and real-life stories from professionals who are building a business based on relationship marketing. Welcome to the Caerusnet podcast. Here, you'll learn how to stay connected in the local business community and become that person others get to know, like, and trust, and refer to. And now, your host, Caerusnet founder, Steven Ziskowski.
Well, I wanna tell you all the places we can go.
My name is Steve Ziskowski, and I'm the founder of Caerusnet. We started this business in 2008. I also actively facilitate 6 Caerusnet teams because I just absolutely love and appreciate small business professionals at that local level and helping them, being helpful, helping our communities get stronger. Stronger communities are great for everybody. And I absolutely love facilitating our Caerusnet teams. And I want to welcome all of you to our Caerusnet 2023 MVP celebration. So this meeting is about you. This meeting is about your awesomeness. And when I started Caerusnet in 2008, I had to ask myself, who are the right type of people for this? Because it sure isn't going to be everybody. Not everybody is built for this. Now, we can learn how to do it through development of our skill set for sure, but some people are just naturals and are also going to grow into being great Caerusnet members. So the people that you see on the screen exemplify what I would consider to be your ideal Caerusnet members. First and foremost, they're excellent at what they do professionally. So these are people that you don't really spend any time hesitating whether or not there's somebody that's going to properly handle a referral. They're experts at what they do, and that's one of the reasons we appreciate them so much, is their level of expertise at their profession. But going a step beyond that, they're people that are down to the earth. They're people that take an interest in other people. They want to go further for their clients than their clients might initially even come to them expecting them to do, right? And a lot of that comes through the relationships that you've built. You're fun to be around. You don't need to be micromanaged. You show up and participate at the high levels, and you inspire other people on the team to do the same thing. So those are the qualities that you see of the people that are on our screen today. And I deeply appreciate having members that just, you reek of value. I can smell it from over here in Arizona. You guys are the best. And again, you can't build a great relationship without great people. So that's where it really begins, is great people that want to include others in their success. So thank you so much for being an inspiration to your facilitator, to other members on your team, and also for being here this morning to kind of share your unique Caerusnet experience and journey, and any tips that you might have that we could share with the membership at large, because this is going to be on the Caerusnet podcast. This is going to be an episode where your segment's going to be featured as well too. And I think we should all share this with our network. Share this with our network as Caerusnet Special. And a lot of people don't have a network like Caerusnet with the type of people that are in it that are also facilitator led. So we appreciate, again, all you do. And what I'm going to do today is ask the facilitators that are on the screen today to introduce their MVPs. So just a brief introduction. And then the member, the MVP member, my ask again is that you share what you've been enjoying about your Caerusnet experience, maybe a highlight in it, and then any tips for success. So with that being said, I think I just kind of want to go in order of how long somebody's been a facilitator with me for, and I think that directs me straight over to Stephen Beber, who is the facilitator of the Celine Caerusnet team. Has been doing a phenomenal job really since he started managing a group anywhere, I would say, between 18 and 25 members. So a vibrant group. And Steve really leads from the heart, really cares about his clients. So Steve, I appreciate you. Would you mind introducing your MVP to us?
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Yes, be glad to do that. And good morning, everyone. Good to see you. And yeah, we do wish we have sun. It's supposed to be here. I don't know. Just slow and coming. I guess it's all out in Arizona for one thing, I think. But I'd like to introduce my MVP, a great guy that is been around Detroit for a little bit in the radio world, and been a DJ and is a musician and multi-talented entrepreneurial guy. And this is Mr. Scott Brown. He owns the Folding Warehouse here in Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor area. And he comes religiously about a 45-mile drive every day that we meet, because the Folding Warehouse is in Ypsi and he lives in Southgate, I think it is, or somewhere out there.
Royal Oak.
Royal Oak, that's what it is.
Yep.
Okay. But I mean, he is the first guy there just about all the time, and a long drive, and religiously comes in, promotes Caerusnet, is a excellent personality, jovial, and always has good things to say, and a real pleasure to have on our team. So I'll turn that back over to you or to Scott, whichever way you want it to go.
Yeah, we're gonna go straight to the MVP after the introduction.
Hi. Well, Scott Brown. Caerusnet's been a really good experience for me, because, when I first started a business, it was only 2 years ago we started this business. I joined all the chambers of commerce and went to all the meetings, and Steve kind of wrote me in at one of them and said, "Hey, you want to be part of this referral group that we have?" And it's so far been the most advantageous of all of those other things that I'm a member of. And because I attend religiously, and the people there are truly engaging, and they do refer business to me, and I refer business back to them. And usually I'm the one referring me to them, because I found that most of my needs have been taken care of by people in the group, or if not them, they know of somebody in their network that's been able to help me. And that's really been it. And it's really good friendships too. We meet with trust builders, and I've gotten to know most everybody as a friend and a business cohort, and it's been great. And I'm glad to have this honor. I'm just me. I show up and I laugh.
Well, we appreciate you, Scott. Thank you for all you do on the Celine team, and I think we've really enjoyed doing some of our afterglows over there as well too. So we're going to keep your location in front of the members, because it's so much fun. So thank you, and thank you,
You're
Steve
always
Weber.
welcome.
Okay, so our next up, Wendy Caberly. She's been facilitating for a minute or two. This is how many, maybe 10 or so Caerusnet MVPs that you've been a part of. Appreciate you, Wendy. You inspire people to take those next steps to build those authentic relationships and stand out really from just other people that we might actually come across. You've got some MVPs here with you on the screen today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce them one at a time, and as you introduce one, we'll have that person go, and then we'll go to the next one.
Well, yes, this is my 11th MVP, but my 10th as a facilitator. So, and 3 of my 5 MVPs are in the room today. So I'm just going to go in order of my team meetings, which means the first up would be my Fenton Genesee County team, and Emma Izaraldo. And she actually held 2 seats in our team last year, the traveling notary and the personal line insurancy. In addition to that, she was a volunteer at the golf event this year as well. She is a young, driven entrepreneur. She defies the stereotype of her generation's age group. Most people don't look at a 21-year-old who's already been in business for more than 2 years and think that is a Gen Z. No, she is not afraid to take a chance. She does not quit even when she's frustrated. And she has just went above and beyond, not only for her groups, but to continue talking to the facilitator about, I'm not getting what I'm looking for. What could I do differently to get the results that I want, instead of turning it into all of you are failing me type of scenario. So all of those reasons combined is the reason why Emma is the MVP for her now former team, because she's moved to another team, but she's the 2023 MVP.
Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate everything you said. That's very nice of you. I have to say some of my top things that I've done in Caerusnet. I was attending the golf outing in 2023. I've gotten a lot and I've learned a lot from being a part of Caerusnet. Some of the small, even simple things in networking I have learned from Wendy, and I appreciate her for that because it's a learning curve, but it's a fun one, and I've really enjoyed it. Also, expanding my network and building lasting connections have been some very impactful things on my journey. And advice would be listening to your facilitator and asking questions and not being afraid to ask those questions, because sometimes they have the answer even when you don't have the answer. So that would be my piece of advice. Thank you.
Yes. Do you want me just to keep going?
Yes, please.
Yeah. All right. So the next that is here in the order of my team meetings would be Danielle Gay. She is the MVP for the West Oakland County New Hudson team. Danielle joined a couple years ago. And honestly, I don't think she knows this, but when she first joined, she irritated me because she didn't think she needed to be there. She was encouraged to join a group by her employer who has agents in multiple teams. See, Danielle is a Medicare specialist and a group health benefit specialist, but yet she 2023 she was a driving force behind the golf committee, and she took charge of our golfers, and she took advantage of that connect, know, like, trust, and she actually helped us recruit golfers to our event this year. We went after specific targets. She took advantage of the old network she was a part of. See, that's what happens. A lot of people think that when they move on to a new job, they need a new network. She leveraged her existing network. And that's what actually brings a lot of value to us. And matter of fact, so much so, we have found so much synergy between the two of us that we're actually going to do a business venture ourselves this year. And Steve, I haven't done the email yet, but Danielle is interested in learning about being a facilitator of a North Genesee County team as well. So my friend, my cohort, my client, my golf connector, Danielle Gay. I don't know if she's driving. Oh, there we go.
I am not driving. I'm getting my car towed at the moment. So, I'm always working and intentionally networking no matter what I'm doing. So, Wendy, I appreciate the MVP honor this year, and being a part of the golf outing was amazing. I look forward to doing it again next year in our business ventures. That's just going to be amazing altogether. But Caerusnet has taught me that, no, I don't need, I want. There's a difference. So wanting to have that intentional connection in the bigger spider web, I used the analogy the other day. My spider web doesn't need to get bigger, it needs to get stronger. So I need to add layers on my spider web, and that's what Caerusnet's helped me does. I have a huge spider web. You guys have just helped me make it stronger. Add layering and adding value through connection is just huge. So thank you for teaching me that. I look forward to the golf outing next year, and thank you for making me MVP.
Excellent. And of course, they mean this year because it is 2024.
This year, yes. I'm still in January. My open enrollment season has not completely ended for Medicare yet. So I am done on the 31st. So I'm still in a blur. So I appreciate that correcting me for this year. And I look forward to even next year's golf outing. And I hope I get to see every one of you there this year. And I'm sure I will be talking to you on the phone eventually, getting your reservations taken care of.
And then my last MVP that is in the room with us today is Dr. Michael Berry. He is a chiropractor in the Brighton area, but he's a member of the Livingston Lunch Team. And that's what we started calling this team that meets at noon, is the Livingston Lunch. Honestly, I encouraged Mike to join my struggling group because they needed the energy. They needed somebody who was energetic and sincere and welcoming and would just embrace everybody. In addition to that, he brought in 3 members. JJ Zielinski is a member because of my team, because of Dr. Mike Berry. And that now is my largest, most active team. And it is diverse and it is fun. And I really have to credit the beginning of all of that to Mike taking my advice and choosing the team that I thought he had the best potential in versus the largest group he could find, which is how most people default. They think more people in the room, more opportunities, when we know it's about the right people in the room. And Mike had a hell of a 2023. There's, I mean, and not in a good way, but he never stopped showing up. He never stopped trying. He never stopped connecting. He earned this. He earned this hands down. He's the MVP for the Livingston Lunch team.
Man, I don't even know how to follow that up. I really appreciate that, Wendy. Just wow, got me in my feels over here. Like, that's okay though. I'm sorry I missed like the beginning, right? I know we're going over kind of the stuff, our little pearls of wisdom, right? For anyone that could potentially be looking into Caerusnet. So what I've come to find out, it's not necessarily about the group that you're in, but the fact that it's not a group, it's a community, because we cross-pollinate. We talk to everybody in all different groups, and there's so much value in that, because you can hear when somebody's a Caerusnetter, right? And I think it was Joe. I went to pick up my Caerusnet award, flipped it into a trust builder, my shortest trust builder ever, Wendy, thank you. It was 30 minutes, but poor Joe, I think he was sitting there for about 5-10 minutes until he started listening to our conversation a little bit and caught little bits and pieces and was like, oh my gosh, are you guys with Caerusnet? And because he was there to pick up his MVP award. And, so it was just, it's everybody in this community, and we all pull together and we can lean on each other. And that's huge. And that shouldn't be overlooked, because our network isn't just who's in the room, but it's who's in every room, and we have access to them.
Man, you made my hair stand up here a little bit on the arm, Dr. Berry. That's exactly the type of thing that I thought you would say, because you absolutely get this. So we appreciate you a ton. Congratulations on your MVP, Wendy. Thanks for doing great work with your teams. Another person that's been doing really, really great work is Doug Moffett. For those of you that don't know, Doug Moffett is one of the original Caerusnetters. So he was one of those people that jumped on the train with me early. And boy, oh boy, we've seen a few referrals pass, few relationships get developed over that time. And when Doug decided that he was ready for his next adventure in life in leadership coaching, he let me know that he had made a decision to become a facilitator and use that to serve small business professionals and bring his value into that picture as well too. So Doug is our 2023 Facilitator of the Year for Caerusnet. He does 3 teams, and he's been able to manage them at wonderful sizes. So people are getting the vibrancy out of their group from having a big team that's also really grounded and connected to each other. It's very powerful when you can do that. Doug, thank you for being our 2023 MVP. And I would like you just to say a word about that before you introduce yours.
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you to everyone who's here on the Zoom today. Great being with you all. I'm sitting over here taking notes about people built for this, and I wrote they're builders, excellent at what they do. It's just an awesome community. Dr. Berry, who just said that, is it really a group or is it a community, right? And I've been feeling that since my first group that I was a part of as a member for 9 years, and now in my 6th year of being a facilitator. It's just back to my college degrees of business and sociology. Loving business and loving people, and being able to combine those two things together is just a joy. I'm getting more and more excited to go into my groups and my teams, and I'm excited to introduce my 3 MVPs. I believe all 3 of them are here. I'm going to start with my Brighton Tuesday 10 o'clock team, Mr. Kevin Rogan, who I've known for several years, and we've kept in touch. He's a financial advisor. He is an athlete. He's an avid runner. He ran for U of M. He's a father, a committed father, and just an amazing brother in the Lord. And he just is, when I thought about MVP, because I picked him this year, I didn't do the vote thing. I picked him. He was the first one that came to mind. He's always usually the first one there, great attendance, and he'll come in and say, what do you need help with? Can I hand out the rosters? Can I hand out the slips, chairs, tables? And I just love the guy. And most recently, when somebody said, listen to your facilitator, I asked everybody this week, when was the last time you asked for an introduction? He emailed us the next day and said, I took Doug's advice. I actually asked for an introduction and I got one from one of my clients. So I'm pleased to introduce the Brighton MVP, Kevin Rogan.
Thanks, Doug. Appreciate it. I think I've heard this. I've known Doug for almost 2 decades, but only been a member of his group for a couple years. However, throughout that whole time, Doug's message continually is be a giver. And I think that's the thing that I've continually heard in our group. I'm surrounded by a group of givers, and it's just a wonderful community. Dr. Barry, I really resonate with your words there. That's what I feel in our group. And I think what I love about it is I'm challenged professionally, I'm challenged personally to grow emotionally, to grow spiritually, and it's been a wonderful community for me. Again, to grow personally and professionally, and those words of be a giver that Doug continually reminds me of is what I wanted to share today.
That's awesome. Well done. Well done. Yeah, Go Giver. Nobody, if anybody's ever read Go Giver, boy, it comes right from that. And you're a great example of that. And so are the next two. So thank you, Kevin. On to our Ann Arbor, my Wednesday morning team, 10 a.m. This guy, Ryan Shuchman, another financial advisor. He is a founding member of this team. He came to the very first meeting, which we just celebrated 5 years. So January of 2019, Ryan Shuchman shows up. He brings a guy named Joe Randall, a mortgage guy. And as soon as that meeting was done, they walked up to the podium where I was standing and they said, we want into this thing. And he is usually there when he can be, if he's not traveling or having a meeting or something. Such a giver, gives great spotlights, just greases the wheels, I think is one of his phrases. Like, you talk about teeing up an introduction and being great at it. And also, then the last thing I'll say before we hear from him is he gives me really good feedback on the group and really challenges me in some areas where we can make little, slight adjustments and recalibrate so that the group continues to gain momentum and be strong. So Ryan Shuchman, thank you for being the Ann Arbor MVP. Look forward to hearing what you have to say.
Thanks, Doug. Two quick comments. First, I think I didn't know this. I can kind of look back after 5 years. Like anything, you got to be patient, right? So over a 5-year period, there's going to be, times where you look back at your interaction in the group and say, this couldn't be better. And times when you go, wow, I wish we could get better in certain ways. But it's really being patient. If you trust the folks in your group, you trust your facilitator, you trust kind of, the community, so to speak. I think long-term, you're going to look back at it as I do and say, this is just a great thing to be a part of and truly beneficial. So always, I think patience and a long-term view is important. And then I think going into something like this, when you're starting your business, when you're trying to grow, you might be thinking about how can I get referrals? How can I grow? The key is really a service heart, right? How do you look at your fellow members and say, how can I benefit them? How can I serve them and help them? And if you're lucky enough to get a client, lucky enough to get a referral, it's not, how is this going to benefit me? It's, how can I make them better? How can I make their outcome better? How can I serve them, wholeheartedly? And my experience is if you take that approach, your business will grow and prosper down the road. And that's just, I think, the right way to build your business and really have something you be proud of. So Doug, thanks for having me here. I'm really honored.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. Well said. Awesome. And last but not least, my good friend, I think if Kevin, we've known each other 2 decades. I've known Dayn for definitely over 2 decades, maybe three now. Just an awesome guy. He's the only person who's on all 3 of my teams. He likes Caerusnet that much. He is a bit of a guru, but he's also one of the best connected and best networking guys, constantly giving referrals, just has a great smile, a great presence about him. and looking forward to what he has to say today, as I look forward to him being a part of each and every meeting. So Dayn, thank you for being the Detroit Thursday morning, now 8:30 a.m. Team. And what do you have to share with the group today?
Yeah, thank you for switching it. This is an honor. Before I jump in, the golf outing is the place to be. That was fantastic this year. And if you haven't been foaling, it's one of those hidden secrets where describing it doesn't sound that much fun, and doing it is a blast. I took my whole family there over Thanksgiving, so 13 of us, and my kids are 25 and 22 liked it so much that they bought me a gift card for Christmas. So do that. If you join more than one of Doug's groups, I think that officially makes me a mafioso. Does that fit with Moffat?
That's right. That's right.
Something like that, right? And actually, congratulations, Doug, because you really were born to facilitate our meetings. I mean, you just, having been your friend for well over 25 years now, you're just in your own, like in the zone when you're helping us pass referrals and hosting and all that. So thank you. The two things I would say, just since we're supposed to, I guess, give advice for people that watch this on recordings, is stay curious, be interested in who else is in the room or who else is on Zoom, I guess, if you're doing it online. And that's hard for me because I've got like ADD off the charts. So I really have to like pay attention to who's there and what they're saying. But it really helps to do trust builders. So that's the other thing is once you start knowing people personally, it's just so much easier to stay engaged with them. And that's actually where the beauty of this comes from. And so thank you, Steve, for setting it up with facilitators like Doug that control the meeting, and it doesn't, well, I've been a bunch of networking meetings and other ones can get weird fast. These tend to stay on the rails. So thank you for setting it up the way you did, Steve. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Well done, guys.
Okay, well, thank you to Doug and your MVPs. I appreciate all of you. Just to let you know, I've got Chaz could not be here today. Chaz Carrillo facilitates the Lansing Green team, but his MVP, attorney Jack Weyers, is here today to be a part of this. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jack according to the script that Chaz handed me. Jack perfectly fits the Caerusnet model by both being an excellent professional and a quality relationship and referral partner. He modeled the system well, hitting all the parts of Caerusnet with authenticity and enthusiasm, which led to his great success and to the success of others. Jack is a great friend and mentor and will continue to compete for MVP every year, but 2023 was by far his best year. Let's welcome Jack Weyers, attorney out of Lansing, into this. Go ahead, Jack. What do you have to say?
Were you going to say something about me being a Spartan? I am, by the way, so don't shoot.
Go green.
Go away. So Jack Weyers, I'm from family in Elder Law, Mid-Michigan. I've been a member of the Green Team for coming up on 2 years now. It's kind of interesting. Chaz and I are old friends. We go to church together, families hang out together. And he had been recruiting me from my local BNI group for about 6 years. So I finally relented in early 2022 now. So it's just been a great experience. I was just kind of thinking is, my group has, I mean, if nothing else, I mean, they've all become really great friends of mine. So not only do we do business together, but we're good friends. We trust each other. And it's not hard for us to refer back and forth to each other. I also went to the golf outing this year for the first time, and it was amazing. We had a great day, but I met a lot of great people there, and have received a number of referrals from the group and referred out to people that I met at the golf outing. I still have a handful of people I need to reach out to because I've been pretty busy because everybody's sending business my way, which I guess is a good thing. But I guess it's, that same thing is kind of that whole giving mentality, service mentality. my group is just such a group of people who are just caring people, and I kind of got that same feel from the whole crew at the golf outing. We're actually we were hoping to kind of more aggressively expand our footprint east to get to the Brighton area. Frankly, we've been so busy, we haven't paid a lot of attention to that, but I made some connections with folks down that way too, and look forward to kind of expand those. But I guess my advice is, don't do it halfway. If you're going to do this, jump all the way in. You're going to find a great group of people across the board who, if you have that kind of service mentality, that abundance mentality, and you believe, if you give, you'll get back. SiriusNet is just a great organization. So thanks, everybody. I don't know how I got to be the MVP, but here I am. So thanks.
There you are. Well, thank you so much, Jack. It's an awesome accomplishment. We appreciate you and all you do there to help that Lansing Green team stay an awesome machine in motion. John Manwiller, you are up next to go ahead and introduce your MVP. And then when John is done, I've got mine, and we'll do just a quick little wrap when we wrap up our meeting.
Awesome. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold over here, so if I sound weird, that's why. But yeah, I'm excited to introduce Matt Shozy from my team. Matt and I have been friends for quite a while now. We actually met on his doorstep back when I was out door knocking for Edward Jones back in the day. And when we launched our SiriusNet team, Steve, we talked about our core team, right? What was it? The 5 or 10 people that are really dedicated to the team who can really help it grow. And Matt has certainly been the definition of a core team member. He started with our team day one and has been with it ever since. And I think things really took off last year. And he's really consistent with coming to the meetings and passing referrals and setting up trust builders. I think he and I and one of the other team members actually have a trust builder set up for next week. So Matt's been an awesome member and an awesome friend to have. And so I'm excited to introduce him here. Matt Shozy with State Farm Insurance.
Hey, thanks, John. Appreciate it. Funny little side note. I just learned this actually a couple of weeks ago when John was knocking on my door. One of my kids asked if he was the president. So thought that was quite humorous. Apparently I didn't pick up at it on the time. But anyways, like John said, I started when he started his own team. And so watching our group grow over the last couple of years has really been a pleasure. I think when we started, there might have been 6 or 7 of us. Now I think on a regular basis, we're up to 15 to 20 people in our meetings. And so, the core group that's kind of been there from the beginning, one of the things that I've heard every single person say is, and I think it's super powerful, is they have become friends with the people that they are in those meetings with. It's not just getting to know people on the business level. It's getting to know people on a personal level, about them, about their family. And I think once that friendship and that relationship develops, it becomes really easy to trust people and be able to say to your own friends, your own family, your own network, hey, go talk to this person because they're going to take care of you. And you've got that trust in them, knowing that that's going to be what actually takes place and that the person that you're referring to is going to be in really good hands. So really, really enjoyed my time with SiriusNet and with John's group, and just thank you all.
Okay, awesome job, Matt. And we'll be getting you your award here shortly. I appreciate your patience with that. Somehow or another, totally my fault that got missed, not John's fault. He was Johnny on the spot. I was the guy that missed it. So we're going to do something a little extra for you, for your patience and for being awesome. Okay, so thank you to my SiriusNet members for being patient and going last. I really appreciate you. First up to bat is Joe Tiberi of the Tiberi Agency out of Ann Arbor. Joe joined my SiriusNet team in 2015. He'll be celebrating his 9-year anniversary on this team in September. For those of you that have been in SiriusNet for a while, you may have heard the name Jim Campbell. Joe Tiberi is a Jim Campbell referral, which have always turned out to be some of my very best ever. But let's keep the focus on Joe. He is a big guy. If you saw Joe, you might be worried that he might put you in a headlock and take you out to the back alley and beat you up. But he is the world's biggest teddy bear. Guy's got a heart of gold, really loves his clients, and he's been instrumental on keeping our Ann Arbor 11 o'clock team now really growing and going forward with beautiful momentum. Joe Tiberi, thank you for being an MVP. I don't think this is your first.
No, 2 years in a row. So Joe Tiberi, Tiberi Agency. Yeah, I take this seriously, and I appreciate the MVP, because there's one thing I can say is I take ownership in our group. And I know all of us here probably do, because the key is, if we can't surround ourselves by people that are going to help us grow and help us be better at what we do, then we're wasting our time. And that's kind of the philosophy of Caerusnet. And I bought into it right away with my boy Jim Campbell bringing me in, and he's an insurance guy. And, insurance guys like Matt, you guys understand. I mean, we need to meet with everybody. And we need to have a large group. I heard a web. That's a great analogy for what it is. And, and that's the key, is it's like, know, and trust who you're with. And, a lot of the guys and a lot of the women that are in this group with me that I've been around, I know Trae, I know a lot of other people that, they come and go, but I keep relationships with them. Some of my best buddies and some of my best referrals and friends and partners are all from Caerusnet. And I can definitely say, in the 9 years that I've been with Caerusnet, I can say that it's the #1 reason my agency grows to where it is, that the success that I see year in and year out is based on this. And, the future is nothing but bright when it comes to this. And it's all, I would probably say, Steve and I have talked about this, probably 60% of my business comes from Caerusnet in some form or fashion. So, and I always tell all new people that are joining, the key is patience. You've got to build the relationships. You have to trust the process. You have to, you have to get to know people. You have to do your trust builders. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to get to know people. But when you get in that groove and you get to know a group of people like this, it's going to be nothing but beneficial. So everything Steve says, he's preaching the gospel. So I always appreciate that. But congratulations to everybody. And I'm always excited about the next year, which is right now, 2020.
That's right. Hard to believe it's February already. Hope you guys are all off to a good start this year. Thank you, Joe, again for another awesome performance on our team. So let's jump over to Caerusnet Canton. Scott Shay joined the Caerusnet Canton team not too far after it launched in 2016. Scott, can't believe it's going to be about 8 years now that you and I've been working together. Quick thing, why is it a good idea to have a facilitator? So Scott, when he came to visit the team, was one of another real estate agent was also trying to be on this team at the same time, both looking to be the real estate agent. The one agent was this Mr. Flashy, oh, I'm this multi-trillion-dollar producer, blah, 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 was really just talking about how great he was. Scott had a personality that was more like, I want to talk about you guys. Who are you? And it was like, a lot of people would have been drawn to think that maybe I should get the person in the group who's the trillion-dollar producer. But as it turned out, Scott absolutely was the correct call on my side. I knew that he was the guy that had the heart for this. I knew he was the guy that had the level of maturity for this, because it's a certain type of person that's going to be successful in Caerusnet. So Scott, thanks for being that person. I know this isn't your first MVP of your Caerusnet team either, but welcome Scott Shay from Berkshire Hathaway Real Estate Services.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks, Steve, for those great words. I appreciate it. So I pulled out the little sheet here, and it says my member date was 2/1/16. I wished I realized that yesterday, because I would have said something on our meeting. But so yesterday was the 8th anniversary, and it's been a fantastic 8 years. My previous networking experience was not with BNI. I know so often we hear that it was not with BNI, but the business and the relationships that I've gotten out of Caerusnet has easily been triple what I did in 10 years in a different networking organization. And the magic really, in a lot of ways, is you, Steve, and the leadership that you provide, and the teaching that is endless, that you never let up on that. And that's the reinforcement that we need. I'm reminded when I heard lots of other people talk here, that there's nothing I'm going to say that's earth shattering. You guys have heard it all before, but we do need to be reminded. I think someone wise said that you have to hear something 8 or 9 times before it sinks in, and that's even if it's in your own industry. A lot of people who join Caerusnet, they haven't networked before, so they have to hear it over and over again. So things like deeper relationships, and I've always tried to do Caerusnet the way I do my real estate business, which is I don't want a transaction, I want a relationship. There's many times that I've told a buyer or a seller, maybe this isn't the right time for you to move. Maybe you should hold on for 6 months or 12 months or longer. And they appreciate that. And I look at the same way with any member that joins the group. I'm like, hey, maybe I can't help you today, or maybe you can't help me today, but that's okay. Let's help each other in any way that we can now, and then it'll come back in spades later. So, and I think that Kevin said it earlier, ask for the introduction, right? I mean, as salespeople, we should know this, but we got to be reminded, because, if you hear it today, you'll probably do it today or tomorrow or Monday. So it's just reminding those things, and take the first step with new members. Somebody joins, even if it's something. There have been times when I see people join a group and I'm like, are they going to be a good fit? I don't know if that's going to work out, but if you take that first step and meet with them, whether it's, I like to meet face-to-face for coffee or lunch if I can, just because I think it just resonates deeper. And if they're willing to do it, I'm willing to do it. So that's about it. Thank you, everybody, for the recognition, and congratulations to all the award winners and all the facilitators. Have a wonderful day.
All right. Thank you, Scott, for that awesome contribution to our meeting today. Appreciate you. And I got a feeling this might not be your last MVP, because you just perform at a high level constantly. So thank you. And thanks for being that person to also first reach out and do trust builders with new members. And I think that's something that we all really should be thinking of doing, regardless of whether we think they're in our wheelhouse or not. Being that person that's interested in them, that helps them. How could that not come back to us in some way, shape, or form in a positive way, right? We've got a few more. Penny Wilson, A Path to Transformation. She was a Caerusnet member that was referred to our team from Dr. Aaron Bannister, who he's gamified his Caerusnet experience. Like he makes it a personal challenge to see if he can get a referral to everybody on his team. And actually, Penny was one of his chiropractic clients as she was getting ready to launch her business. So Penny Wilson, A Path to Transformation. Thanks for being an MVP. You got to unmute there, Penny.
Thank you, Steve. I always forget that. I am very appreciative of the MVP award this year. I spent 30 years in corporate America and decided that when I reached my breaking point, I wanted to do something to help people. So as you guys have mentioned about going from being takers to givers and serving, that was kind of the path that I went from. I went from being a director of finance to a life coach, which is pretty amazing for a left brain focused person to go right brain. But what I didn't know was Caerusnet was the group that was going to really help me grow. And the reason for that is because I was able to make the connection with people. And I received some great guidance from those individuals that are in my group, as well as other people in other groups. And so I guess for me, the benefit has been the people, the connection, the relationships, the trust builders where you dig deep. You really get to know people if you're vulnerable enough to share. And so for me, the advice that I would give new Caerusnet members as well as existing Caerusnet members, be vulnerable. There's so much power in being vulnerable and just laying it out there. You'll never know who's going to give you the best advice because they know what you're looking for. And if you're not being honest with yourself, you're not going to receive that answer. So be vulnerable, look for that connection, really do the connect. This is a community. And so I think it's a benefit for all of us. And the last thing is to persevere. For me, with my business, it's a heart-centered business. It's hard to get referrals, but persevering, I have grown more as a business person just through my Caerusnet connections than I have doing my business. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you. Would love to do trust builders with all of you so I get to know each of you better. So I will try and reach out. And Robert, you and I have one on Monday, so I'm excited about that. But thank you again, Steve. I appreciate the opportunity, and congratulations to everybody.
Okay, awesome job, Penny. Thank you for being an awesome MVPer for our Brighton Tuesday 8 o'clock group. Just a quick thing, I will have everybody's contact information emailed to you in a follow-up once this recording goes onto YouTube and onto Spotify. And that way, if you would like to reconnect with each other for one-on-ones, what a great opportunity for that. So we're almost done. We've got 2 more to go. So sometimes you got to be told about Caerusnet by more than one person, and that happened to Robert Pierce. He learned about Caerusnet not just from one Caerusnet member, from a couple Caerusnet members. And Robert owns a business called This Guy Cleans House. He's a residential house cleaning business. So that's what he does to make the world a better place. But Robert is also driven to grow, also is a leader. And it wasn't a surprise to me when he was voted by his team, which has exceptional members and is a gigantic team, to be the standout MVP this year of the Brighton Wednesday 10 o'clock team. One other quick little note about Robert, currently launching a Caerusnet Linden/Fenton team as well too. And from what I'm hearing, Robert, the people that are a part of that, you're doing great work. So let's welcome Robert Pierce from This Guy Cleans House.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, it's funny listening to everybody, talk about these things that we don't know when we start business. When we don't understand when you start business. When I first started Caerusnet, it was all about, what am I going to get? What am I going to get out of this? What are these people giving to me? Sure, I work hard and I grow my business, but I need referrals. I need more business. And it really took, I think it was Emma was talking about, like, hey, what do I get out of this, Steve? And go to your facilitator. You guys, several of you have mentioned that, and it's so important to get Ziskowski'd and to understand that it's time to grow. It's time to change your mindset and think about other things in other ways, and really delivering that serving heart. Uncallous your heart, become a little bit more giving and more emotional, and more just connecting more with all a ton of people. So it's like, I don't pick and choose who I meet anymore. It doesn't matter. My goal is to help them. My goal is to look for opportunities that I can serve those people, not about what I'm going to get from them. So to me, when we talk about these verbs and these things we're making on this chat, is hilarious. Caerusnetting, the Caerusnet tea, the Caerusnetter, all of those things are so important in my life today. And that's why I wanted to become a facilitator, because I can connect more people. And Wendy and I have had some conversations about the love of connecting so many people and watching your works. What you do is making differences in people's lives, and that's really what I've gained from Caerusnet, and gained from all of you that I've had trust builders with, and now I see all of you. I need to have more trust builders. So I don't hesitate to have them either, and I love the face to face, like you said, Scott. The face to face is just so important to capture that emotion. So. What I could say as still a youth in this is, again, don't be afraid. Get out there and just somebody else said be vulnerable, but get out there and just start talking to people. And so one thing I did learn, and actually I kind of captured this today. I went to a Grand Blanc chamber event, and I went in there and I knew somebody, and I went up to that person, and I've never had a trust builder with this person. They're not part of Caerusnet, but I said, hey, we talked in the past, let's go talk. So even if you know somebody and you haven't had that trust builder with them, have that trust builder, because they're going to connect you with somebody else down the road. So it becomes a lot bigger thing. Go with the familiars first, and then you can start getting with the unfamiliars.
Okay, Robert Pierce, thanks for all you do. You are an inspiration as well too, and I agree with you. The treasures are in the trust builders, so be sure you continually do those. We've got one more left. So when Trae Bohlen and I connected, she was referred to me from an Ann Arbor Caerusnet member. and Trae had disclosed to me that she had tried some different networking things as well too, and really wasn't even sure that that was going to be an avenue that she wanted to try to travel down again. So I tried to do my best job to convince Trae to, hey, come to a meeting, give it a try, meet the people, see if it resonates with you. And so she did. And I love it when a Caerusnet member says, Steve, I really, really like it. I just need to pray on it. Because I got 100% batting average when somebody prays on it that they join Caerusnet. And Trae not only is part of a team that she is a heartbeat on, but I think she's also found her tribe as well too. So let's welcome Trae Bohlen, branding photographer.
Hey, I'm so excited to share a little bit. One of my secret goals was to be the MVP of my team, and I didn't tell anybody. I just went after it. And the thing that I love about listening to everybody is all of us are so different, and we're all just being who God created us to be and being that in an excellent way. And that's why we're the MVPs. So I feel like that's like my biggest thing that I want to share to anybody watching is you don't have to be Scott, or any of the Scotts. You don't have to be Dr. Michael Berry. You don't have to be any of us. You just have to be yourself and be all in, and that's what I really love about my team, about Caerusnet. I'm getting choked up, is that we're all just being exactly who we were created to be. And that is really the heart of Caerusnet, and being that go-giver. I love Bob Berg and his, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Well, how can we get to know, like, and trust someone? It's by being in this community week after week, showing up. One thing I would definitely say is if you can, attend every single meeting and be as active as you possibly can be in the meeting, be a part of the welcome wagon. These are all things that I feel like weren't a big deal because they're just who I am. But if you can put that on yourself to be kind of that go-giver and be looking for ways to bless other people, like we've all said in here, it does come back to you. And that's not why I'm doing it, though. I'm not doing it so it'll come back to me. I'm doing it because I love to do it. And if that resonates with you, then you need to be a part of Caerusnet. I went to a networking event in person and I started talking about Caerusnet, but I wasn't naming it. And the person was like, do you mean Caerusnet? I love that our reputation is out there and it's going before us so that I can just describe all of us and who we are, and people just make that connection. And then another thing that I wanted to share was I love the things that I've learned from everybody about how to make connections. And I was at this in-person event, and something that Wendy says is, when you meet someone, you're talking to them, set up that trust builder, and then say, so who do you think I should meet next? And I got led around that room to the exact people I needed to talk to strategically. And I made all those connections 5, and I've set up 5 trust builders, and then I went home. And I just thought that was a beautiful thing that I've learned from Caerusnet. So I just had to share that. Thank you for letting me be the MVP of my team.
Talk about a lot of collective wisdom that's come from this meeting today. Wisdom is knowledge put into practice, right? So you guys are people that put what you've learned into practice. You help other people. You're an inspiration. Here's a quick little photo opportunity. If you guys could all do me a favor, if you have your MVP mugs, if you wouldn't mind kind of hoisting those up into the air, just hold them up there. If you don't have your mug, can you give me a big thumbs up, please? That will work for this as well. To hold it all up. Awesome smiles. Thank you. This is going to be the cover of the video. You guys are all awesome. Thank you very much. One other final thing that I would want to mention as well too is, when people join Caerusnet, they join for several different things: getting exposure, right? Being put in front of the right audience. They join to make meaningful connections and build their business. They look for referrals, right? And people that can become clients. And one of the things that I wanted to encourage us all to do is be a great voice on our own team and encourage the members of our own team to attend things like Referraltopia that bring our entire network together at large for like a gigantic Caerusnet meeting with a lot of guests. It's really powerful. Also on July 17th, I'll be in Michigan from Arizona, as always, for our member breakfast, which gets bigger and more powerful every year. I really hope to see all of you at that as well, too, so I can give you a high five, handshake, or hug, whatever you'll take from me. But I just appreciate all of you so much. And thank you so much for your time this morning. And again, please continue to be an inspiration to the members on your team. Keep leading by example. There's only one way to do it, right? And that's leading with your heart and being the people that you are authentically already. So thank you for everything you do. And you guys are awesome. Thank you for a great meeting today.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Shout out to Michelle Cousineau for the great job on the engraving. I mean, this is fantastic. It really is.
Yeah, now that I've got somebody in the network that does engraving, why would I send the awards off to some company out of state, right? And so she really delivers those gifts with class. So thank you, Scott.
I have used her now for all my new members. All get a cup with their business on the cup, and I use her for the. Sorry,
you're making us look bad, Robert.
Yeah, Robert, what do you
Steve, step up.
thinking? Don't be giving any ideas like that.
All
That's a
of
great
my
idea,
members.
Doug. I'll text you my address.
Everybody's going
You
to join
already got
Robert's
one.
team now.
Don't tell anybody else at our next week's meeting.
Well, listen, you guys are absolutely awesome. The final thing that I'll say, and I've said this for years, we are the ones that are in control and can be an inspiration to others. So never let the world change your smile. Use your smile to change the world, right? Use your smile to change the world. Hopefully we'll see you guys again next year. I hope to see a lot of you at the member breakfast. And again, thank you so much for today, everybody. Enjoy this beautiful weekend ahead.
Steve. Great job, everybody.
Congrats, everybody. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.